the Nightcap. It's your girl, Carolina Sanchez, and it's Guys Night. Hey. And June is a very special month for men because it's Men's Mental Health Month. And I feel like we don't talk about it enough. And there's a special book that we're featuring tonight that really dives into the conversations that men wish they had, but they really don't have them. And this weekend is Father's Day, so we're going to talk about fatherhood as well. But of course, we need a drink in our hands, and I've got Fieldings and River Oaks in the building. Carrie,
thank you.
You brought quite a setup. What is this?
So this is a Yama still, and we're filtering rye over pecan to make our rye smoked old fashioned with maple syrup and chocolate bitters.
And this is smoke already in here? Oh, baby, I love me an old fashioned. It's my favorite cocktail, and this is the presentation I want every time.
Yes,
and what's
ma'am.
this?
And that is an Aviation, one of our very top cocktails at Fieldings River Oaks.
All right, I'm not gonna double fist right now. So Mauricio, you're gonna show me how to make that later?
Absolutely, of course.
I love it. All right, I'll be right back. But first, I'm gonna head to the couch because the fellas are ready to discuss. So let's get into it.
Yeah, what's up for a nightcap? Chill, you know, kick back.
All right, since it's Men's Mental Health Month, let's start talking to the men, shall we? Let's see my panel today. We've got Peter Burnett in the building, who's the author of Conversations I Wish I Had. We're going to dive into the book a little later. Thanks for being here. Next to you, we've got Chill Will.
Hey, how you doing?
We'll see how chill you actually keep it tonight. And next to you, we've got Justin Williams.
Pleasure.
Welcome, fellas. Okay, so it's Men's Mental Health Month, and I'm glad, we're taking the time in June to actually bring awareness to this issue, since I feel like it's not something that we talk about much in society. Peter, the title of your book is Conversations I Wish I Had.
Yes.
So what do you wish people were talking about more when it comes to men's mental health?
It's so much that we keep bottled inside as men. And a lot of the times we feel we have pressure, there's expectations, we're trying to fulfill roles just as individuals, as partners, fathers, work life, everything. There's so many different things that kind of go into our lives. And a lot of times we just face it. We go out there and we just handle our business, and even when we're struggling, we don't feel like we can ask for help. I know personally, that's how I've always been raised to be independent. I was born on Independence Day, so that's already my independent streak.
Like,
So
Peter's gonna be independent.
I'm going to be independent. So, and I've always tried to do what I can on my own, and that's been to my detriment at times. And it's because of those times when I was unable to say what was on my mind or speak and ask for help and things like that, because again, I just felt like, I don't want to burden my partner. I don't want to burden anybody else. I just want to be able to do what I can and get it done. Right. And again, that's something that a lot of men, we definitely struggle with.
I see both of y'all nodding, so it's
true.
hitting home, it's hitting true.
Yeah, when he said he doesn't feel like he can ask for help, it's a lot of times with men, it's like we're not supposed to ask for help, right? Like we're supposed to, what's the bootstraps term to use nowadays? Supposed to weather it out, supposed to work hard, supposed to just, persevere through whatever comes our way. And that is a very negative mental state to be in, because it isolates you from your issues and your problems. In addition, like the conversations that he and I've had, is you don't realize that there are other people, other men suffering the same thing, right? And in the male community, we'll get together, have some drinks, watch some basketball, play some basketball, talk about everything under the sun, but the most important stuff, right? Talk about the hurts, the disappointments, talk about the heartbreak, talk about, the stuff that we're just supposed to suck up and carry. And it's unfair to us. At the same time, it's how we're raised. My dad was a Black Panther, so like it was hard, right? Like you just whatever the world throws at you, son, you handle it. Don't cry, I'll give you something to cry about, right? Like all those different sayings and phrases and the stuff we laugh about when we see it on memes and reels, but it's real trauma that we're all relating to with the like button. At the same time, like we need to talk about it, work through it, right? Figure out how to process it, and also how to not pass it on to our children.
We grow up and we're taught to be superheroes before we're taught anything else. Like, I take your problems, but who's gonna take mine? So now I have to deal with your problems, and then now I gotta look at mine, but I'm so bothered by everybody else's problems, I can't even focus on mine. And me and Peter had a conversation the other day, and I was like, you know, it's okay to not be okay, but it's not okay to stay not being okay. Like, you have to get out of it. And as men, we want to get out of it as quick as possible. We're fixers.
We want to fix it.
We want to fix everything. We want to fix your problems. We want to fix this. Oh, something broken? I'm going to go fix it. Like, that's what we do.
Right.
So a lot of times we just bottle it up and just, because guess what? I got to go to work tomorrow. You know, guess what? My child needs this, my son needs this, my daughter needs this, my wife needs this, whoever. Somebody needs something from me. So I'm always giving. I just think about how many people that I come in contact with that, especially men, we have nobody to talk to. Because some people actually, hate to say this, but your spouse, your girlfriend, whatever, you can be very vulnerable with her and tell her everything. And then as soon as you get in an argument or make her mad, she uses that as ammunition against you.
Really?
Yeah,
They put it in the clip.
Yeah,
They put it in the clip
100%,
and use it
100%.
against you. Prime example.
Yeah, give me an example of that.
Okay, let's say you and your spouse, whatever, and he doesn't have his money for bills right now.
Right.
Something happened, whatever happened, and he comes to you, which is a very scary thing to come
Yes.
tell your woman, like, hey, I don't
Money's
got
tight,
it.
I don't
Yeah,
got
I
it,
don't got it
right.
right
Yes,
now.
we
You
are.
know,
Especially because it's part of the superhero.
Right,
You
right.
have to be a provider.
because
Yeah.
in the-
when we
Provider,
go
protector.
outside, we have a cape on.
Yes.
But when we look in the mirror, we see Clark Kent. You know what I mean? Everybody else sees a superhero. So it's hard to come and tell you, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that. Because I'm pretty sure they both can contest to this. You didn't use the word can't.
Nah.
You tell her you can't pay the bills or you can't do that or she needs to do it. 2 months later, y'all get in an argument. It's gonna come out.
You broke ass.
Yeah.
Yes, 100%. 100%.
That's why your ass couldn't pay the bill. I
So
had to
then,
do it.
because of that, you allowed yourself the vulnerability with your partner.
And it's betrayed.
And then she threw it right back at you. You feel betrayed, so you're not going to confide again.
Exactly. The men and the boys are taught, you know, handle it yourself, suck it up, you know, don't ask nobody for help. A lot of women are taught by their fathers even that the man is supposed to carry, supposed to suck it up, supposed to provide, supposed to do X, Y, Z, right? Like, you're the princess, he's the knight in shining armor, right? And so whenever that facade fails, she falls back on, well, you're supposed to do this in the first place. Why didn't you do it? You know, somebody has to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
Like he just said, men have
All
nobody
right,
to
well,
talk to.
let's dive into the vulnerability and how we can actually tap into that. All right, you stay right there. We'll have more of this conversation on men's mental health after the break. Welcome back to the Nightcap. It's June. That means it's Men's Mental Health Month, and this weekend is Father's Day, and I've got 3 fathers, 3 men here who are, you know, having the tough conversation that they wish they had had sooner in their lives. We've got Peter, Will, and Justin. All right, Justin, you started talking about the vulnerability, and earlier you said that you don't have people to get vulnerable with, and when you do confide in your partner, they tend to throw it back to you. Men do have friendships, and they've cultivated them for many, many years. You might have friends from like grade school, might have friends that you met in college, but you said earlier all you talk about is sports. You talk about the
Women.
weather,
Yeah.
women, anything but.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not take the step and start being a little bit more open and vulnerable with those male friends?
I think I'll just use myself as an example. It took a paradigm shift, an earth-shattering event in my life for me to go ahead and start opening up, and that's kind of how this book was born.
Okay.
From realizing, you know what, I'm going through these different situations, I'm going through heartbreak, and because of the things that I felt like I couldn't say. So it's not that I didn't have someone who wasn't willing to listen. I just felt like I didn't want to burden her with anything I was going through. So there's a lot of things that I kept to myself, thinking that I was doing the right thing, but in turn,
It was
that
a
was
detriment to your
It was
relationship.
a detriment. It was driving a divide that I had no intention on having, but I've learned the hard way that intentions don't negate the impact. And it's definitely been
100%.
very eye-opening for
So
that.
during your heartbreak, you decided to turn to your friends, or did they see you like in a moment of peril? Like what was the moment that allowed you to finally open up?
I mean, this is my best friend right here, so definitely had to turn to him and just kind of pour my heart out and talk about what was going on and try to get another point of view on things. And we've known each other for so long, so it's not as, I guess, difficult to be vulnerable and things like that. But I kind of had to finally tear those walls down and say, you know what, here's what it is. This is what's going on. I don't have anything that I feel like I need to hide. So even just, again, making a book and everything like that, that's just a huge thing to kind of expose these conversations. Because again, talking to him, talking to other men, and I'm thinking, it's like, man, you're going through this. Why didn't I ever know about this? It's crazy. Like, I'm going through this. I'm dying inside, and y'all been through this. Like, what's up?
Why did y'all tell me? Y'all left me out here without a life saver.
Yeah, so it's like, so it's like, all right,
that's funny.
if somebody's gonna take the initiative to kind of put it out there and break the silence, then I'm gonna use this pain to go ahead and have a purpose behind it.
So Justin, how was it for you when Peter finally was like, vomiting from the mouth?
So Peter hit the nail on the head, right? We've known each other for a long time. We frat brothers, pledged in college, 25 years this year?
Yes, sir.
Right, so he's been through both of my marriages and both of my divorces. He's been through, my dad passed last year. His parents passed in college, so we've been through everything together. Like, we've seen each other in every situation known, right? So I know this man, right? So I knew something was off, right?
Yeah.
You know your friends, you know, they start posting different on socials. Like, they'll text you randomly, man, today sucks. And like what's up, dog? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Just that random text, like, all right, you all right, dog? You good? What's happening? What's happening? Like,
Got you. Okay.
And so I felt it in the spirit, in the air, right? And so just started having those honest conversations, right? The stuff that I had held inside, the stuff that, again, because I try to explain to people, like, I have a unique background in the fact that I was raised by a single father, and he raised my brother and I by himself, right? Like, he was a man's man, right? You don't cry, we didn't hug till I was 16, right? Wow. Like, I didn't tell him I love you till I was 16, and that's because he got deathly ill, and I'm like, and he was, 45 when he had me, so he was in his 60s in high school, and I'm like, my dad's old, he might die. And so I was like, hey, Dad, I love you, like, and so I never had the feminine energy to kind of be able,
that affection, that nurturing.
Right? And so, like, I learned, like, you just carry it. You just be silent and, don't show what's going on. But he'll tell you, like, I had times in my life where I was going through everything. Like, my daughter tried to commit suicide and she was put in a mental hospital, right? I'm going through, like, child support issues with my ex-wife, and I'm going through, like, losing my job. I'm going through, like, my dad was at the time living with me, and he was, going through heart failure, and, like, I'm taking care of him, and, like, I'm carrying all this stuff and not talking to nobody about it, right? Because I have a gift, I got broad shoulders, right? And so whenever he reached out to me, it was like, all this stuff you went through, it loses its effect and its value if you don't share, right? I mean, I'm a Christian. There's a scripture that says they've overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimony, right? We have to share our testimony to overcome, right? And so when he called me and I see him going through this stuff with his girl and his heartbreak, and like, this is his first time dating somebody who was in their 20s, and like the whole social media aspect of it, right? Of in a relationship, because now social media plays a huge part in relationships. And whenever you separate, there's still that algorithm that lingers, right? And so I've been through that. And so I was like, I want my boy to heal and understand that, you know what, it will be okay. And I'll say this in honesty, man, like, men cap on each other, right? We clown each other. That's how we bond, right? Again, the memes and the reels is like, when the man, what do you call that, makes fun of you, means he loves you, right? And so a lot of times we don't share those weaknesses because we don't want that to be something that they can make fun of me of, right? Oh, sucker for love ass nigga, right? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a phrase, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? So, like, even when talking to your mans, there's still that voice in the back of your head, like, let's not be too vulnerable. Right. But in
like, you still got to throw in a little,
exactly.
You gotta throw your jab in.
Like,
get a little jab.
Yeah, you got to throw a LOL at the end of that, Yeah, I cried at the car. LOL.
Even though you were like balling, snot coming out.
You got the car and grab the steering wheel.
All right. right, we got more to discuss with these fellas, so you stay right there. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Nightcap. We're having a guys' night where we're talking about the difficult subjects of mental health. We don't talk about it enough, but these fellows are here to discuss. Been talking to Peter, Will, and Justin. Well, obviously, you've been getting emotional here, and after speaking with Justin, I guess having all the hard conversations that you finally started having, you decided to pour it into a book.
Yes.
So what can people expect from this?
They are going to get a lot of personal insight as far as, well, I'm not going to go into all the kind of details, but there's going to be some personal anecdotes in there that were kind of the genesis behind the book. They're going to get dealing with unsaid expectations, dealing with just communication or the lack thereof, dealing with grief from heartbreak, dealing with just grief in general, going through the grief from divorce, because I've been divorced as well, going through the expectations of fatherhood and what that entails. Also dealing with reestablishing relationships with the brotherhood, because that's something that we talk about here in terms of being able to reach out to your friends and keeping those networks connected, and kind of reestablishing that. It talks about dating and communication and all those different things. So
it's a lot.
It's a lot.
The conversations you wish you had,
definitely.
The unspoken stories of men. Okay,
Definitely.
so where can people purchase?
It will be available on Amazon.com. So Amazon's where they can get it in hardcover, paperback, and on Kindle.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Peter. Peter, Will, and Justin, thank you so much for coming on and being vulnerable and having this hard conversation. Cheers to y'all. Oh, y'all drink up. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, listen. Coming up next, we're gonna find out how to make this cocktail and more from Fieldings in River Oaks. You stay right there. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Nightcap. I'm behind the bar because, baby, that cocktail we had on the couch was of great company to that great conversation. We've got the bar manager of Fielding, Mauricio Albuena, and the owner, Carrie Attar. And, baby, it's time to do what? Back that glass up! Yes. Okay. That old fashioned it's my favorite cocktail, and y'all not only knocked it out the park, but you brought props baby, I've never seen this in my studio before. Okay, repeat to me what this is, Carrie.
So this is called a llama still. And so we take rye, filter it over roasted Texas pecan wood, and then it's a Solera method. We pour it over and over and over again. Wow. And that's how we soften the edges off the old fashioned. And then Mauricio works some magic with his little elixirs and makes the maple old fashioned.
Well, Mauricio, how do you make it?
Okay, so an old fashioned will have your spirit, which in this case is our charcoal filtered whiskey, our sweetener, which is maple vanilla syrup, and our chocolate bitters and orange bitters.
Oh, chocolate and orange bitters. All right, well, you go ahead and stir it on up then, baby.
Awesome.
All right, so Carrie, for people who are unfamiliar with Fieldings,
Sure.
fairly new in River Oaks.
Yeah, so Fieldings, the company's 11 years old. We just opened on Westheimer. It's a steakhouse, craft cocktails, and fine wine. It's got a great casual vibe. It's good for date night, good for business, and it's got a great bar.
Is it good for a guy's night, for guys to come on and get vulnerable?
Yes.
Yeah?
I'm a very vulnerable guy.
Are you? Did you identify with anything that the men said?
Yeah, it was incredible. What you guys talked about was just spot on. I was personally identifying with it, and it really resonated with me.
Do you feel like men need to be talking a little bit more to their friends and their spouses?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it was exactly like he was saying. I come home and I don't talk to my spouse because I'm talking all day.
Yeah.
It
You're
was
like, it's like you get home and all the stressors of the world, you want to relax, you want to chill out, you want to decompress.
I want to sit in the dark.
Sit in the dark? No, my God, that's not the way to do it, Carrie. You need to be sitting at Fieldings is where you need to be
exactly.
sitting. Ooh, and you're stamping the ice too?
Yep.
What? Okay, and I hear you got something special happening for Father's Day as well.
So for Father's Day, Fieldings River Oaks, we have these amazing brunch features that Chef Adele is putting together. And we're going to run the brunch features Saturday and Sunday. And then Mauricio is doing some amazing cocktails, including this Old Fashioned. And you know, the thing about the Old Fashioned is it's an original cocktail, which means you've heard of pre-Prohibition and modern and classic. This is an original cocktail. And then after Prohibition, they started making lots of other Old Fashions. And so guests would say, I want it the old-fashioned way instead of these new ways they were making. And that's how this drink came to be. You want to do the unveiling?
I got it. Who, me?
Yeah.
All right, what camera is going to be looking? You got it? Y'all got it? Ooh-wee.
And that smell is just incredible.
It really is. It really is. All right. Well, let's go before, you know, the smoke detectors go off. I'm excited to drink this. All right. Cheers, y'all. Y'all know where to go and spend Father's Day this weekend. Go to Fieldings in River Oaks. It's off of Westheimer.
Off Westheimer.
Check out Mauricio.
Yep.
And Carrie, you know, he's going to be there decompressing. All right. Reach out to your male friends. Reach out to them. And actually, the conversation is so good, we might continue it tomorrow. So, we'll see you next time.